I've just been for a walk in this wood that I've never been to before, in order to record an episode for my podcast using my Paths and Destinations poem. So I thought while I was here, I might read you that poem and just see what happens. Some paths are simply a means of getting from where you are to a destination where you want to be. Other paths, movement away from you where you are, a decision only needed when you get to that first crossroads. No destination in mind, one step at a time. Other paths, a means of getting to a higher vantage point, to higher ground, to enable the observation of all possible destinations currently unseen. Other paths, testing the ground and its ability to hold us, to learn to have faith and trust ourselves again, with destinations still to be imagined. Other paths, undoubtedly dead ends, a reversal needed, yet the lessons learned invaluable for future path taking and destination arriving. Other paths, adventures for the journeyer, a decision to be made later, the destination of no relevance nor import. Other paths, those less travelled, less clear, destinations only to be known when we get there. Other paths that have yet to be laid down, 360 degrees of choice, paths and destinations as yet unmapped. Other paths, a knowing that we need to take the path, even if we don't know why, just an excitement of the unknown, calling for our inner wisdom to be revealed. What path will you take today? I use poetry quite a bit in the work, as much because it's full of metaphor, and metaphor is one of the things I use a lot, and it's because I'm not telling you what any of this means. I know what it meant to me when I wrote it. I know what it means, the changed meaning of that poem and those words every time I come back to the words. And therefore I'm just inviting you to consider how do these words help you make sense of a current situation. They may make sense in their entirety. It might be little stanzas that make sense. It might be just one word that prompts you to see the current situation differently, because that's all the tools in the landscape toolkit that I use do really, is help you see situations from a different perspective. That if you're there believing that you're up against it and that there isn't nothing you can do, that there's an immovable object in front of you, then how can you see the situation from a different perspective, to see every element, to see round that obstacle, to see that perhaps it's not as solid or as immovable as you thought, that perhaps you need to climb it or just simply walk round it. This might be a movable object, but actually all I have to do is go either side of it to get around it. And every time you come to these poems, or every time I come to these poems, but I've used them in a retreat recently, used them in coaching, in workshops, I get so excited about people's connection with the words, the impact it has. So certainly invite you to share in comments what resonated for you in this poem today. And I'm going to leave you and I'm going to enjoy this beautiful, beautiful autumnal weather really.